Hey crafty cuties, I hope everyone had a lovely new year. It is time to get back on that crafting game, and I am working on January's Patreon mail that I send out, so I am coming up with some different ideas. I have a few here that will probably end up being included in the mail, but today we are going to get started making some of these little snippets here. This is a perfect time to just clean out, organize your little extras and your scraps and things, because that will be perfect for today's project. Stay tuned. We'll probably make these things together in the coming week or so. And yeah, I just have all of my like scraps and snippets all organized in these little plastic bins here. I'll try to post anything down below that I can find on Amazon for you. Those will be affiliate links, but you can also find little organizers like this at like hardware stores. I usually have found mine, I think, at Ace Hardware Store. Okay, so I also have some extra little pieces of fabric here that I was hoping to use up as well. I always like to start off with some kind of a base, and I think today I'm going to have the base be fabric or wallpaper. I have so much wallpaper that I really wanted to use up, so I'm starting by just cutting down. I usually like to do kind of a rectangle shape around this size, like an inch by 3 inches or so. And I like to have a couple of my bases down, and then we'll just start kind of piling on some things. Yeah, so let me grab, like I said, I have wallpaper here, and I'm just gonna tear this. That helps with texture and giving some interest to your little pieces. And sometimes you don't see the base, or you know, some of the layers might just only be peeking out, but it's always good to just kind of be not overthinking these pieces if you can. And I know that's hard to do, but I tell you, if you can have an organized little situation like this isn't that organized, but what I'm saying is if you can have your things laid out in front of you, this whole process gets to be so much easier. And again, I want these to be real simple with just a few different like layers of paper, maybe some lace thrown in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I know you can't see all the way up here, so let me actually, I'm gonna bring you guys out a bit. Okay, now I know when I have you not zoomed in as much, you can't exactly see the detail, but I kind of want you to see the whole process where I'm grabbing from, and we'll just do a few like this, but I'll zoom in just a bit. So I get a lot of these type of pieces from either Taperlogy or Your Creative Studio. And so I'm not going to worry really about what's on the pieces right now. I'm just going to start laying down a few. And I kind of want these to be bright, neutral with pops of color, if that even makes sense. I'm like already excited for spring crafting, so that's where I'm going with this. I'm just going to lay down one of these pieces on each. So I also will go ahead, and I love using labels in my little snippets, so I'm going to grab a few of my labels and lay that down as well. The red might be a little bit out of what I'm trying to go for, but on there it's okay. I'm not exactly laying these down in any certain way right now. I'm just kind of laying them on their spots. You'll see, we'll mess around with it. I wanted to do something a little bit different this time, and I normally have my snippets go horizontal, but I sort of really liked how this one turned out where I had a vertical piece, so I kind of want to try and keep that in mind as well, like this one. Okay, so what else? Florals are always a great thing to add, so I'm just gonna grab out of this little area, or something like botanical, like a mushroom would be good. I'm not interested in bugs too much, but stickers can also be used, or like little tags. And I have a ton of these stamps. Sorry, I'm just gonna pull from over here. And I sort of like that a lot of these stamps are kind of like a washi. They're like a see-through. And so that's really fun as well. Okay. Now these are okay. I like them, but I feel like they all need a little something extra, and that's where I think lace will be a good addition. And I am just going to use, so I'm just setting this down. Remember, I'm going to finalize how they are in just a minute, and I will bring you in for that. But I'm just going to cut a little snippet of either lace, or I was thinking actually this might be good. This is seam binding, but it's just like, it's not colored yet. But I think that might actually be perfect because I don't want to add too much color to these. I just want another little texture in here. You could also use like thread and just kind of make it messily on there. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in now for the next part. I'm hoping this will stay focused. Apologies if it doesn't. So to put these together today, I'm going to use just a little bit of glue and then staples. I'm just going to start with this one here. The glue is just going to be used to really hold these together for a quick minute while I am layering everything how I like it. Try not to overthink it. I just want little bits of everything kind of peeking out. If you don't like staples, you can sew these, or you can just glue them, or use your favorite adhesive, I guess. But I personally love using staples. And again, I wasn't too worried about what the words were on these little labels. You might have to be careful because sometimes they say really funny things that, like, I don't really know, that just are weird, just don't make sense. So you may want to keep that in mind if you were like gifting it to someone. But I am mostly going to be covering up any of the words because I don't want that to be really too much of the focus. Now I'm going to take my stapler and just do like a couple across here. That's good. But sewing is always a great way to go about it too. The fun thing about the base on this one is that it had these like little doilies kind of hanging down, and that really adds quite a bit, I think. So there's the first one. This goes much faster when you're not like filming and explaining it, of course. So I'm gonna just set those ones out of the way. It's kind of nice. I personally like to have like a good amount of space to work with for these. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in the back. So again, just, this is a sticker, but I'm totally fine just leaving the backing on. It's not going to peel off or anything like that. Okay, let's see. What I was going to say is, you know, sometimes I'll find myself almost overthinking stuff, but that's just when I remind myself, like, just bring it back, just layer, don't overthink it. So I definitely have to give myself reminders. I'm gonna, instead of gluing this seam binding down, I'm just gonna staple it. There we go. So I'm really liking that like backwards L shape today. It's just what I'm going for. And my thought for that is that I'm gonna send these to my patrons, or, you know, pen pals or whatever, keep them for myself separate. But I really like the idea that you could send along a really simple wallpaper pocket. This is just a little pocket that I made. And if the recipient wants, they can easily just add this on the pocket to kind of finish it off. Now this is a little bit longer than the pocket, and I'm fine with that. But if you are trying to think of a set or something like that and you didn't want it to be much bigger, then just keep that in mind with your sizing. But, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this cat. There's this cat that just began coming over to our house, and it's just meowing like crazy. I think it must be in heat. I'm not sure. I think it's our neighbors, but like, we have an outdoor cat who wanders around too. She's not in heat, so it's not like that annoying, but our dog usually goes nuts over it. So anyways, remember I was saying about words that are on these little tickets. Sometimes this said like pharmacy, which again, to me that's not a big deal, but I'm just saying you might not really want like pharmacy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just be mindful of any of the little tags that have words. Now something else I kind of wanted to mention is that sometimes with the labels, if you have your label be on top, it can be fun to finish this off with a little word sticker. Or that reminded me that I have a ton of stickers I've been needing to use up. Let me grab some of my stickers. I have these really fun sticker books from Taperlogy. I was thinking that some of these would be kind of cool. They sort of look like vintagey, and that would be a fun way. I'm not obviously putting a word sticker on this one, but word stickers work really well, and I feel like that kind of added a whole lot there. Okay, so let's keep going. In one of the upcoming videos, I will definitely show you, like I said, I'm gonna probably show you how I made these little wallpaper pockets just real simple, and then at the end of that video, I can go ahead and show you. I keep saying go ahead. I can show you how I would use these, even though I already showed you an example, but we'll actually like put them together and go from there. And maybe I'll try to show a few other ideas that you can just use them alone as well, like in your journal or something like that. Okay, add a little bit of glue to this one. I just want to make sure everything stays. So I'm still doing kind of that, instead of the backwards L now, it's the right side L. And it's not too tall or anything like that, but I like it. So one little tip, if you did want to finish off your little snippet with a washi sticker, or like I have a bunch of these really cute clear stickers, and maybe you don't want to just staple it on like that, I'll show you. So what I do is just take it off. I love this little pen, by the way. I think it's called like a Bujo pen from Taperlogy. I'll try to link it below if I can. But anyways, take the backing off your sticker. Go ahead and just stick it down to, I kind of like to use like a neutral colored paper, but you could do book page even, that would be fun. And then you're just going to cut around your image, and you can go as close to the sticker, but honestly I kind of like leaving a little bit of an extra border. I think this actually would look really cool stuck down to a book page now that I think about it. I'm just going to go kind of quick so I can show you the end result. I definitely think that this ends up looking a lot better than just keeping the backing on. It does take a little bit of extra time, but I'm just going to stick that down like that, I think, for this one. No, on top actually. And of course my staple. We'll glue it down then. Yeah, this is actually the back of a book page, so I could have just used that, but that's okay. There you go. So instead of the backing, I'm trying to grab one. You can kind of see it just adds a little bit more color and stands out a little bit better. When I'm using any of the word stickers, I do like to add a little bit of extra glue because I find that the adhesive on these definitely wears off over time. So when I'm using a label, if I am adding some word stickers, I also think it looks kind of fun to go ahead, if you have a longer word sticker, to have it kind of come off of the label too. So again, there's just a lot of interest. I keep saying that word, but it's just the only word I've got. So this one says cough mixture. So a lot of these are kind of like medical themed labels apparently, but I'm fine with that. I think they still look cool. I just don't exactly think that it matters too much what they say, but even though I keep bringing it up. Okay. Yeah, I really like using the seam binding that's not colored because I feel like it adds like some texture. Oh my gosh, that cat again. But it doesn't add like too much color. It keeps it neutral. And I don't really need like a staple for this one, but I'm just gonna add it because I like how it looks. And I don't try to go overboard, just like 2 staples is fine. So that's all that there really is to making these little snippets. I think it's nice to go ahead and have a little formula or system that you like. Like, make a few, figure out which little setup you are drawn to, and then just kind of copy that, of course, using different pieces as you go. And that's how you can really get this assembly line situation going if you're trying to make a bunch of these at once. And even if it's for yourself, it's kind of nice to just make up a bunch using up your scraps. And a lot of these, I guess maybe you wouldn't call scraps, but for me, they're kind of like my scraps, because I've done these before using actual scraps, by the way, but I have more like fabric scraps and things that I could pull out and use. But that's about it, guys. Maybe I'll try to add in, I'll try to incorporate a bit more fabric in them just to use up some of my fabric scraps. But it's kind of the same idea, using lace, little fabric scraps, whatever you have on hand, really. It doesn't have to be specific. Yeah, I guess that does look kind of fun, just adding a tiny little scrap of fabric. And I like it to be frayed because I feel like that's fun. We'll just staple there and there. So there's that one. So I'm just gonna sit here and make up a bunch of these right now. I hope that you guys get inspired to use up your scraps or like little snippet pieces that I know we all hoard. And that's it for today's video. So I will see you guys in the next. Bye, guys.